Learning English doesn't have to be difficult or boring. In fact, the best way to learn is to make it feel like an adventure. That's why stories work so well. When you hear a good story, your brain naturally understands the grammar, vocabulary, and rhythm of the language without you even trying. You feel the meaning, not just memorize rules. That's the power of storytelling. And hey, before we jump into today's story, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and turn on the bell so you never miss out on a new adventure that also teaches you real, useful English. Alright. So let's talk about what happened when a guy named Jason got locked out of his room at the Atlantis Hotel in Dubai. Yes, that Atlantis. The one on the Palm. The one with water parks, giant aquariums, and 5-star everything. But no matter how fancy a place is, you can still make a very simple mistake. Jason had always dreamed of staying at the Atlantis Hotel. It was one of those bucket list places. The moment he walked into the lobby, with its huge glass dome and towering white columns, he knew this was going to be an unforgettable stay. Everything felt like a scene from a movie. There were sparkling floors, golden lights, and giant fish tanks everywhere. The check-in was smooth, the room was perfect, and he couldn't wait to start exploring. After changing into a fresh shirt and grabbing his phone, Jason decided to go check out the beach area. The hotel's private beach was just a short walk away. It was a warm afternoon, the sky was clear, and the water sparkled like diamonds. He spent some time walking along the shore, taking pictures, and just soaking in the view. At some point he got thirsty. He didn't feel like ordering anything from the beach bar, so he thought, I'll just run up to the room real quick and grab a cold bottle of water. He stepped inside the hotel, took the elevator up to his floor, walked to his door, and reached into his pocket. Empty. No card key. His room key was not in his shorts. He stood still for a moment. He checked all his pockets again twice. Then he checked his backpack. Nothing. He had clearly left the key card in the room. And of course, the door had shut behind him automatically. Now, most people would just go back to the front desk and get a new card. But there was a small problem. Jason had left everything inside the room. His wallet. His phone. Even his passport. All of it. The only thing he had on him was a half-open bag of peanuts and a hotel towel. So there he was, standing in the hallway of one of the world's most luxurious hotels, barefoot, holding peanuts, and realizing he had no way to prove who he was. He tried not to panic. Okay, he thought. Let's stay calm. He took the elevator back down to the lobby. The receptionist looked professional and kind, but Jason knew this wasn't going to be easy. He explained the situation, trying not to sound too embarrassed. The woman at the desk asked for his room number. He gave it. Then she asked for his name and ID. That's where things got tricky. I don't have my ID, he explained. Gets inside the room. She gave a polite smile, but it was clear she needed more than just his word. Do you have your phone? She asked. No, Jason replied. That's also in the room. She hesitated for a moment and then asked a few more questions, like the name on the reservation, the date of check-in, and the last 4 digits of the credit card used. Thankfully, Jason remembered enough of those details to satisfy her. Please wait a moment, she said. He stood there, barefoot, still holding the peanuts, while people walked by dressed in expensive clothes, heading to dinner or coming back from the spa. Jason tried to act casual, but it was hard not to feel completely ridiculous. After a few minutes, a hotel security officer appeared. Sir, I'll escort you back to your room, the man said. Jason followed him into the elevator. They reached the door. The officer used a master key to unlock it. Jason stepped inside and immediately saw the card key sitting right on the nightstand, exactly where he had left it. He turned around and thanked the officer, who nodded and walked away. Jason closed the door behind him, let out a long sigh, and then laughed. It was one of those moments that felt like a disaster when it happened, but once it was over, it became a funny travel story. He sat down on the bed, finally took that drink of water, and thought, well, that's a memory I'll never forget. And now you won't forget it either, because through Jason's story, you learned so much more than just what happens at a fancy hotel. You picked up useful phrases like "I checked my pockets," "I left it in the room," "he tried not to panic," and "she hesitated for a moment." These are real expressions that native speakers use every day. You also saw how to describe a situation, show emotion, and tell a story with detail and clarity. The best part? You didn't even have to study. Your brain did the work just by listening. That's the magic of learning through stories. So, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Fluentory, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. Now tell us in the comments, have you ever locked yourself out of your hotel room or house? What happened? We'd love to read your story. See you in the next adventure.